Okay, back. Do we have audio now? Audio and visuals? Okay, great. Alright, I'll continue now. Just to repeat the line we were on before. It's because they're born in an immature state before their nerves are, adequately developed.
このため、人間の赤ん坊は身体の統一的知覚を得ることができません。
Because of this, human babies cannot obtain unified senses.
自分が今、空間の中でどのような体勢をしているのかがわからない。
They can't tell what sort of physical position they're in at the moment.
それどころか、どこからどこまでが自分自身で、どこからどこまでが外の世界なのか、それさえもわからないのです。
That's not all. They can't even tell how much is them and how much is the outside world.
自分と自分ではないものとの区別がつかない。境界がない。
For human babies, they can't tell the difference between them and things that are not them. There are no boundaries for them.
生まれたばかりの赤ん坊にとっては、世界のすべてが自分自身なのです。
To a newborn baby, the whole world is itself.
空も雲も木々の緑も犬も猫も鳥たちも目に映るもののすべてが自分。
Sky, the clouds, the green of the trees, dogs, cats, and birds. Everything it sees is itself.
もちろん人間の他者もそうですし、母親でさえも例外ではありません。
The same goes for humans, of course, and its mother is no exception.
自分の体は思うように動かない。母親の体もコントロールすることはできない。同じなのです。
It can't move its own body the way it wants to. It can't control its own mother's body either. It's the same thing.
両者に区別や境目はなく、自分と世界は混然一体となって溶け合っている。
There are no distinctions between it and anyone else. And, it itself and the world around it mix together and melt into one.
ここまではいいですか?
Are you following me so far? Yeah. Now it's getting interesting. At the very least, it's far more interesting than all that bullshit, urban legend shit she was telling me earlier. And when does a baby start to tell the difference between itself and the world around it?
生後6ヶ月から18ヶ月頃と言われています。
It's said to be between 6 months to 18 months after birth.
ちょうどハイハイから伝え歩きができるようになるまでの頃です。
The time between when it starts crawling to the time when it learns how to walk while holding on to something.
この時期に赤ん坊は劇的な出来事を体験します。
In this time period, a baby goes through a dramatic experience. And what's that?
鏡を見るのです。
It looks into a mirror.
正確に言うと、鏡の中に自分というものの正体を見るという意味ですが。
More accurately, when it looks into a mirror and sees its own body.
他の神経系統に比べて視覚は早い段階から発達します。
Sight develops early compared to the other neural systems.
身体感覚は未だ漠然としたままで、体を思い通りに動かすことはできません。
Its other senses are still vague, and it can't move its body the way it wants.
けれど見ることだけはできるのです。鏡に映った自分の姿を。
However, the only thing it can do is look at its own self in the mirror.
この時初めて赤ん坊はこれこそが自分なのだと悟ります。
It is at this time that the baby first learns that this is me.
今ここに映っている小さな物体、
The small body that I'm seeing in here.
母の胸に抱かれているこのぷよぷよとした肌色の塊こそが自分というものの正体なのだと。
This chubby blob of skin that my mother holds in my arms is what I actually am.
この時初めて認識できるようになるのです。
It is at this point that it first perceives itself.
それまでは世界のすべてが自分でした。
Up until then, the entire world was itself.
世界のすべてが自分だったということは、そこに自己は存在しなかったということになります。
Since the entire world was itself, that also means that it had no sense of self or ego up until then.
区別、境界、差異、こういったものがなければ自己という概念そのものが成立しません。
Distinctions, boundaries, differences. Without any of these, the concept of a self cannot be formed.
でも今は違います。赤ん坊は鏡を見ました。
But it's all changed at this moment. The baby has looked at the mirror.
そこに自分の輪郭を見て世界との境界を知りました。
It is there that it sees its own outlines and discovers the boundaries between it and the world.
意識、自我の誕生です。
This is the birth of consciousness, the ego.
この日は精神的な誕生日と言ってもいいでしょう。
In a sense, you could call this its mental birthday.
何しろこの世界に初めて自分という存在が生まれたのですから。
After all, it's from that moment on that the being known as you is born into this world.
これらの心理的な現象すべてを指して共造段階と言います。
These psychological phenomena are all referred to as the mirror stage. Wait, hold on. But what about way back when they didn't have mirrors?
とてもいい質問です。
That's a very good question. Sorry, anyway, a very good question.
ラカンは便宜的に共造段階という言葉を使いましたが、自己を認識するための道具は別に鏡でなくてもいいのです。
For convenience sake, Lacan used the term mirror stage. But you don't particularly need a mirror in order to identify yourself.
鏡がない場合には他者と他者の視線がその役割を果たします。
When there are no mirrors around, other people and their lines of sight fulfill that role.
赤ん坊にとって 最も身近にいる他者とは母親です。
To a baby, its mother is the closest other.
なので通常は母親が鏡の代わりになります。
So it always uses its mother in place of a mirror.
安らぎを与えてくれるもの、空腹を満たし下半身の不快感を取り除いてくれるもの。
It's what brings it peace, what satisfies its hunger, and what gets rid of the unpleasant feeling in its lower half.
そのものと自分が別々の存在であるということに赤ん坊はまだ気づいていません。
But at this point, the baby has still not realized that this thing is a completely separate existence from itself.
けれど赤ん坊は見ているのです。
But the baby can see.
そのものの動作や仕草や素振りを。
It can see how it moves, how it acts, how it behaves.
どうやらそれは二足歩行をしているようだ。
It appears to be a bipedal creature.
腕や指先を動かし奇妙な振る舞いを見せている。
Its arms and fingers move and displays bizarre behavior.
たびたびこちらに顔を向け視線を送り微笑む。
Sometimes this creature will look at it, stare right into its eyes, and smile.
もっともこの時の赤ん坊の中にはまだ腕や足や微笑みといった概念は存在しません。
However, at this point in time, a baby still does not have a concept of what arms, legs, and a smile are.
意味のわからない抽象的な映像が目の前を淡々と流れていくだけです。
Abstract images of unintelligible meanings just flow by dispassionately in front of its eyes.
ただし視線だけは違います。視線を感じ取る能力だけは本能的なものなのです。
However, it is only its sight that is different. Sight is essentially the only capability it possesses that it can perceive.
他者に遭遇した時、誰に教わったわけでもないのに赤ん坊はその人の目を見ますよね。
When they encounter people, a baby will look into that person's eyes, even though no one is taught how to do so, right?
視覚に依存している他の動物も同じです。必ず相手の目を見ます。
The same goes for other animals that possess sight. They will always look into others' eyes.
視線というものはそれだけ重要な役割を果たしているということです。
That just goes to show just how important a role that that sight possesses.
さて、赤ん坊は今母親の視線を感じました。
Now, at this point in time, the baby has perceived sensed its mother's sense of sight.
当然、視線の先に何かがあることにも気づきます。
And naturally, it's also realized what it's looking at.
母親は何かを見ている。見られているものとは何だろう。
No, sorry. Naturally, it also realizes that its mother is looking at something. My mother is looking at something. What is it that's being looked at?
赤ん坊はこの時、見られているものの正体を自己として認識します。
It is at this point that the baby perceives its own ego as the truth of the thing that its mother is looking at. So,
認識というよりも設定と言った方がいいかもしれません。
no, perhaps it would be better to say it creates rather than perceives its ego.
自己という概念が最初にあったわけではなく、見られている対象を自己として設定するということです。
The concept of an ego doesn't exist at first, but rather is something that is created by what is being looked at.
実は鏡の場合もこれと同じなんですけどね。
In fact, this is the same when it looks at a mirror when this happens with a mirror too.
赤ん坊が鏡を見る。そこに何者かの視線を感じる。
The baby looks at the mirror. When it does, it feels someone's gaze.
それは何かを見ている。見られているものとは何だろう。
It's looking at something. What is it that's being looked at?
その見られている対象を自己として設定する。
The one that's being looked at creates its own ego.
この先は両者とも同じです。
What happens after this occurs in both cases.
世界との境界を見出し、自我が誕生します。
The world and its boundaries are discerned, and the sense of self is born.
しかし、これでもまだ自己の統一性は完全に確立されたとは言えません。
However, you cannot say at this point that a unified sense of self has been established.
神経系統はここに来てもなお未発達なままです。
After all, even after all this, its neural systems are still underdeveloped.
鏡の前を離れれば、あるいは他者の視線がそれてしまえば、自己の存在はあやふやなものへと戻ってしまいます。
Once it goes away from the mirror, or the other person looks away from them, its sense of self goes back to being something vague once again.
では、人間はどのようにして自分の存在を明確に認識できるようになるのでしょうか。
And how is it that humans come to consistently perceive their own existence clearly?
いちいち鏡の前に立ったり、誰かに見つめてもらったりしなければ、それはできないのでしょうか。
Can't do that unless it's standing from a mirror every time or someone's looking at it, right?
いいえ、もちろんそんなことはありません。
Of course, that's not how it works.
視点取得という能力を得ることによって、やがてそれは可能となります。
This gradually, before long, this becomes possible through obtaining the ability of acquiring a perspective. Um,
ちょっと待ってていただけますか？
could you wait a minute? Effie goes back into the building with those words. I look at the swings. The girl who was crying so much earlier is now cackling as she plays with the 3 dogs. It's a peaceful sight. When I see how innocent the children are, it makes all this all this petty talk feel pointless. After a little while, Effie comes back. He's carrying some plastic boards with her. Sorry, carrying a plastic board with her. Or rather, that's the only expression I can think. Board is the only word I can think of to describe the piece of plastic she's carrying. Found size A3. One side is red, while the other side is blue. Wait. Effie has more than just boards. I see she seems to be carrying something else. It's a scrap of paper. A picture postcard. It seems to show a man from the back, but I can't really tell it from here. What's that?
見ていてください。
Please take a look. Effie turns towards the courtyard and shouts,
おーい、みんな
Kids!
ちょっと手伝ってほしいことがあるの。
Could you help me with something?
こっち来てくれる？
Over here! About 7 or 8 of the kids gather towards her as they shout. Effie puts the postcard in her pocket, leaving only the red and blue board in her hands. The kids all swarm in front of Effie, pushing each other to and fro. Effie takes a step back and holds the board out in front of her chest. The red side is held out towards the kids. What's she doing?
みんな教えてくれないかな？
Can you tell me something, kids?
これはなんていう色？
What color is this? Red!
そっか。これは赤っていう色なんだ。
I see. So this is the color known as red.
じゃあ、私が今見ている色はなんていう色なんだろう？
And what color am I looking at right now? Red!
残念でした。
Too bad.
私が見ていたのは赤じゃなくて青だったのです。
What I saw wasn't red, but blue. Effie flips the board as she says that. The kids stare at the board blankly in confusion.
いい？もう一回行くわよ。
Alright, let's try this again. Now Effie speaks with the blue side held out towards the kids.
この色は何色でしょう？
What color is this? Blue!
それじゃあ、私が今見ているのは何色でしょう？
Then what color am I looking at right now? Blue! Red! Blue! Unlike before, they get conflicting answers.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
戻っていいわよ。
You can go back now. Oh, and everyone who said blue gets no food for the rest of the day. Got it? Okay, yeah, no, that didn't happen. Let's go back to normal. The children scatter. Some kids look confused. Other kids look proud. All other kids, clearly not interested, start talking about other things. Effie watches them all go before turning back to me.
あの子たちの年齢は4歳から5歳です。
Those kids are about 4 and 5.
他人の立場に立ってものを考えるということがまだできません。
They still can't think from another person's perspective.
自分の見ている色を相手も見ているはずだと思い込んでしまっているのです。
They believe that the color they're seeing has to be the color that the other is seeing too. And what about the kids who got it right?
もちろん成長には個人差があります。
Well, of course, there are individual differences that come with growth.
特にこのラベイユには優秀な子が多いですからね。
LaBey in particular has a lot of smart kids.
けれど通常は7歳ぐらいにならなければこの能力を確立することはできません。
But this ability cannot be established until one is usually about 7 years old.
他者の視点を獲得する能力、これを視点取得と言います。
The ability to see through another person's eyes. This is what's known as perception acquisition.
発達心理学の用語です。
It's a term in developmental psychology.
ついでなのでもう一つ用語をお教えしておきましょう。
While I'm at it, I'll teach you another term.
天城さんも先ほどご覧になったかと思います。
I think you saw this earlier, but
男の子が転び、それを見ていた女の子が泣き出した。
when that boy fell, the girl who saw that cried.
転んだのは自分ではないのに、あたかも自分が転んだかのように感じる。
Even though she wasn't the one who fell, it felt like as if though she were the one who'd fallen.
このことを発達心理学では転化現象と言います。
Hold on a second, sorry, it's another term I gotta look up. Okay, in developmental psychology, this is known as the shift phenomenon, perception shifting phenomenon.
こんな例もあります。
Here's an example.
A 君と B 君が喧嘩をし、A 君が B 君のことをぶってしまった。
A and B get into a fight, and then A punches B.
A 君は私のところへやってきて、B 君にぶたれたと言って大声を上げて泣き始める。
A comes over to me and starts crying, shouting that B punched him.
これも転化現象の一例です。
This is also an example of that phenomenon.
さて、これらのことから何がわかるでしょうか。
Now then, what have we learned from this? That the kid still has a hard time telling the distinctions between it and others.
そうです。
That's right.
共造段階によってひとまず自己というものを発見することはできました。
Via the mirror stage, we discovered that which is known as self.
けれど、それは単なる発見であって定着ではないのです。
However, this is merely a discovery, not defining it.
人間の幼児は視点取得という能力を得て初めて社会的な私を意識できるようになります。
During human childhood, by acquiring the ability of perception acquisition, they first begin to perceive the self that they show to society.
つまり人間は他者に対する共感能力を得ない限り自分として生きていくことはできないということです。
Sorry, no, their social self, not... Yeah. In other words, as long as humans cannot empathize with others, do not have the ability to empathize with others, they cannot live as themselves. I go over what Effie is saying in my head. Humans cannot perceive their sense of self without someone else looking at them. And they can't live in a human society without perceiving their self. So in order to live a healthy life, wouldn't that mean they'd have to walk around with a mirror or be constantly looked at by others? That's not it. Humans have the power of imagination. They just have to create a fictional perspective in their heads and look at themselves through that perspective's eyes. This is perception acquisition, apparently. On the other hand, those who have not attained this ability cannot perceive their sense of self, and therefore cannot live a proper life in society.
人間は決して内側から自己を認識することはできません。
Humans can never perceive their self from within.
鏡に映っている人物は誰？それは本当の自分自身ではありません。
Who is the one that's displayed in the mirror? That person is not actually the real you.
あくまでも自分の外側にいる自分という他者に過ぎないのです。
It is nothing more than the other known as yourself that is outside of you.
私は私であると言った時も同じです。
It's also the same when you say I am me.
私は私であるという認識は
The perception of I am me
一度自分の外側に出て架空の視点から自分自身を眺めてみなければ決してもたらされることはありません。
The perception of I am me cannot be formed unless you formed a fictional perspective outside of you and looked at yourself through it.
ここで一つクイズを出しましょう。
Now let's time for a little quiz.
3人の囚人のクイズです。
It's a quiz involving 3 prisoners.
場所は刑務所内のとある一室。
The location is in a room in the penitentiary.
3人の囚人と刑務所の所長がいます。
The 3 prisoners and the prison warden are there.
所長は囚人の前へと歩み寄り、こう言いました。
The warden walks up to the prisoners and says this.
ここに5枚のカードがある。5枚のうち3枚は白で、2枚は黒だ。
I have 5 cards right here. 3 of them are white and 2 of them are black.
今からお前たちの背中にそれぞれ1枚ずつこのカードを貼り付けていく。
right now I'm going to tape one card each to your backs.
他人の背中を見ても構わないが、決して話をしてはならない。
You can look at other people's backs, for all I care, but you can't talk. You can't say anything.
一番最初に自分のカードを言い当てた者は釈放してやろう。
The first person who guesses what card he has on his back gets to go free.
ただし、当てずっぽうではダメだ。なぜその色だと分かったのか、きちんと理由を説明しなければならない。
However, you can't just guess randomly. You have to explain to me your reasons for why you think it's that color.
天城さん、今あなたはこの囚人のうちの一人です。
Mr. Amagi, let's say that you're one of those prisoners.
所長はすでにカードを貼り終えていて、今は部屋の隅に立っています。
The warden has already finished taping the card to you and is now standing in the corner of the room.
あなたは他の二人の背中を見ました。カードの色は両方とも白でした。
You look at two other people's backs. Both of them have white cards.
他の二人も互いの背中を確かめ合い、あなたの背中も見ました。
The other two also look at each other's backs and look at your back too.
あなたたち三人はじっと考え込みました。
The three of you all think.
まだ誰も回答を導けない様子で、所長のところに向かおうとする者は誰一人いません。
No one has walked over to the warden yet. It seems no one's come for the answer yet.
さて、問題です。
Now here's the question.
あなたの背中に貼られたカードは何色でしょう？
What color is the card on your back? Welp, time to guess. Is it white or black? I will pick up. Okay. Alright, black. Black.
どうしてそう思われたんです？
What makes you believe that? The one who came up with all this was the prison warden, right? I'm not the kind of person... I don't like those kind of people. If my card were white... I'd reach the right answer right away and be set free. Do you think the warden would really allow that? No. This must be some sort of prank on his part. Therefore, my card must be black.
でも、他の二人は走り出さないんですよ。
But none of the other two are running over to him. Aren't they just idiots?
もう、真面目に答えてください。
Please take this seriously and answer.
正解は白ですよ。
The correct answer is white. I know.
本当ですか？
Really? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who do you think I am? Why are you making me answer such an obvious question?
No, いいえ、説明してください。
No, please explain to me. Oh boy. Alright, fine. But before that, I'm going to give names to the two other prisoners. One of them is called Okuma, while the other is called Suyuzaki. Let's call him that. Let's assume that the car on my back. At first, let's assume the car on my back is black. What would happen then? Okuma would see that the car on my back is black, while the car on Suyuzaki's back is white. Next, Okuma thinks this. If my car is black, then Suyuzaki is currently looking at two black cards. If that's the case, then Suyuzaki will quickly realize, should quickly realize that her card is white and go running to the warden. But Suyuzaki isn't moving, which means that my card is white. But Okuma doesn't move. He doesn't head for the warden. The same as with Suyuzaki. She doesn't run. You could also You could also change your names around and be the exact same thing. So what does this mean? It means that my first assumption was wrong. The car on my back isn't black. It's white. All three of us see that the other two's cards are white. But we need time to think. And no one's running straight for the warden.
さすがですね。正解です。
Impressive. That's correct.
解説をする前にもう一つだけ出題させてください。ここに絵はがきがあります。
Sorry. Before I begin explaining, let me bring up one other thing with you. I have a postcard of him right here. Effie takes the postcard out of her pocket and holds it in front of me.
これはシュールレアリズムを代表するある画家の絵です。
This is a painting from a surrealist artist.
どう思われます？
What does it seem like to you? It's a strange painting, just as I can see. I don't know what you want me to say.
なぜ？
All I can really say is that it's surreal. Why is that? Because this man is looking at his own back in the mirror. That's impossible. That's why.
どうして彼の後ろ姿だと分かったのでしょう？
How do you know it's his back? Anyone can tell just by looking, right? The hair on the man and the hair and coat on the man and the reflection are both the exact same.
では次にこの男性の立場に立って考えてみましょう。
Let's try thinking from that man's perspective now.
天城さん、あなたは今この男性であるとします。
Let's say you're that man right now, Mr. Amagi.
あなたは何を見ていますか？
What are you seeing? Don't make me keep saying it. My own back.
どうして自分の後ろ姿だと？
Why your own back? Well,
あなたは自分の背中が見られないはずです。
you shouldn't be able to see your back.
写真や映像で見たことはあるかもしれませんが、少なくとも今は見られない。
You may have seen the photo, and the image, but at the very least you can't see them now.
なのになぜ鏡に映っているのが 自分の後ろ姿だと分かったのでしょう。
So why is it that the one displayed in the mirror is your own back? Because, the me who's looking at this postcard right now knows that.
ありがとうございます。質問は以上です。
Thank you very much. That's it for my questions. Effie puts the postcard back in her pocket.
今、2つの例を挙げました。
I just gave you 2 examples.
一つは囚人の話、もう一つは絵はがきの話。
The first was the story of the prisoners, while the second was the one about the postcard.
これらが何を表しているのか、わかりますか？
Do you know what these represent? That people can't perceive their own selves from within. In order to learn their own situations, they have to borrow other people's perspectives. That's what it means.
ええ。この時の他者のことを大文字の他者と言います。
Yes, the other in this scenario is known as the big other.
ラカンがこの単語の頭文字を大文字で記したからです。囚人の例で言うと、他の2人の囚人が
One sec. Lacan wrote the first letter in this term in all caps, in caps. In the story about the prisoners, the other 2 prisoners were...
絵はがきの方では、それを見ていた私たちがこの大文字の他者に該当します。
I'm sorry. In the story about the prisoners, it was the other 2 prisoners. And the bit about the postcard, the big other was the us who were looking at that picture.
言うまでもなく、大文字の他者はその時々によって姿を変えます。
It goes without saying that that the big other changes depending on the situation.
ただ、漠然とした他者という概念は誰しもが持っているものです。
However, everyone possesses the concept of vaguely possesses the concept of an other.
私は自己を認識するには架空の視点を設定する必要があると言いました。
I said that you need to create a fictional perspective in order to perceive yourself.
この架空の視点の所有者こそが大文字の他者なのです。
The owner of this fictional perspective is the big other.
私がラカンの話を始めたとき、何を言ったか覚えていらっしゃいますか？
Do you remember what I said when I started talking about Lacan? Humans' desires are other people's desires. What you want is nothing more than what's demanded by the big other.
大文字の他者はいつでもどんな時でも私たちのすぐそばにいます。
The big other is always with us at every moment.
そばにいて私たちにありとあらゆる要求をしてきます。
They're right there, making all sorts of demands of us.
これを美しいと感じなさい。醜いと感じなさい。正義と感じなさい。悪と感じなさい。
Telling us to perceive something as beautiful, something as ugly, something as good, something as evil.
普遍的かつ絶対的美、醜、善、悪などといったものはこの世界に存在しません。
There are no universal and absolute beauty. There is no absolute or universal beauties, hideous, good or evil in this world.
あるのは大多数が無意識のうちに共有している相対的な価値観のみであり、これは時代や環境の推移とともに変化していきます。
All there is are the relative values that the majority unconsciously share, which change depending on the times and environment.
この価値観を作っているのは力なのですが、まあその話はいいでしょう。
The thing that creates these values is power. But let's just leave it at that.
とにかく私たちは大文字の他者から社会的な価値観を学ぶということです。
In any case, we learn social values from the big other.
その価値観に基づいて次に要請が来ます。
Following demand comes from those values, is based on those values.
人間は可能な限り美しくあるべきであり、正しくあるべきである。
Humans should be as just and beautiful as possible.
その方が自己の生存を維持する上で有利であり、生殖行為に及ぶ確率も高まるからです。
That way is more beneficial, as well as does a better job of preserving the self, and also increase the probability of proliferation.
美しさについては言うまでもないでしょう。
I don't think I need to talk. Sorry, I think the beauty part of it all goes without saying.
正しさとは社会的な正しさのことであり、この規律に従っている方が2つの目的を達成する可能性が増加します。
Meanwhile, just refers to social justice, and by obeying that social justice, makes it more probable that we'll accomplish these two goals.
反社会的な人間も同じです。
It's the same with antisocial people.
彼らは常に反社会的な人間像という大文字の他者を意識しています。
They constantly perceive the big other as an antisocial person.
その要請に基づいて瞬間瞬間の行動を決定しています。
Every action they take in every moment is decided by its demands.
このように私たちの思考や判断は大文字の他者によって支配されています。
It is in this way that our thoughts and decisions are controlled by the big other.
他者の望むこと、欲することを私たちは大々的に叶えてあげているということです。
Others' desires and wants are interchangeable with our own, by this definition.
すなわち、人間の欲望とは他者の欲望である。
In other words, people's desires are others' desires.
お分かりになっていただけたでしょうか？
Do you understand? I nod quietly.
さて、随分と遠回りになりましたが、話を元に戻しましょう。
Now, I know it took quite the detour right there, but let's get back on topic.
私が言葉の先取りについてお尋ねしたとき、天城さんはこうお答えになりましたね。
Do you remember how you answered when I asked you about predicting what others would say ahead of time?
長年付き合っていると、相手がどんな話題を好み、何を言えば喜ぶのか大体分かってくる。
You said that by having known someone for a long time, you have a general idea of what topics they like and what to say that makes them happy.
向こうも同じで、自分がどんな話を望んでいるのか、いちいち言わなくても把握している。
And he said the same goes vice versa.
だから、お互いが求めている話題を提供し合うのは不思議なことでも何でもない。
That's why there's nothing strange about how we both know what how we can both provide each other with the topics each other wants.
要するに、天城さんもお相手の方も、それぞれが他者の欲望を満たすべく発話していたということです。
In other words, both you and this friend of yours in this example speak in ways in order to fulfill the other's desires.
これはあらゆる会話に適用されます。
This applies to all conversations.
すべての発話行為は他者の代弁に過ぎません。
Every act of conversation is nothing more than speaking for another. You really think so? Aren't there people though who say whatever they want without thinking what others want?
私のことですか？
You're talking about me, I take it? Well, no, I wasn't saying that.
私が自分勝手に喋り続けているのも同じですよ。
Me saying whatever I want is the exact same thing.
私は私の考えていることを天城さんに理解してほしいと思っています。
In this case, I believe that what I'm saying. Sorry. In this case, what I'm thinking is how I want you to understand me.
その欲望はどこから来ているのかというと、大文字の他者からです。
And this desire came from the big other.
私の中にはもやもやとした他者という存在があります。
Within me is the vague existence of the other.
その他者の思いを私は代弁しているだけなのです。
I'm just saying what that other is thinking and feeling.
私は一人の他者である。フランスの詩人アルチュール・ランボーの言葉です。
I am one other. This was a quote from the French poet Arthur Rimbaud. I'm pretty sure I messed that up. Don't know the exact French name, sorry.
このたった一つのフレーズの中に世界の真理は隠されています。
The world's truth is hidden in that one phrase. Now you there in front of the monitor, were you paying attention? Huh? No, sorry. I was kind of zoned out a long time ago. Can you sum that up? Okay, here we go. Time to start over from the beginning of the exposition. You done talking now?
え？
Yes. Let me ask a question.
何でしょう？
What is it? About what you just told me. The whole stuff about the other. This whole thing began when you said all that, stuff about the split bodies that made no sense whatsoever. You said that Noi and Alt are split bodies. That they're one personality in two bodies. What does that have to do with everything you just told me now?
まず私は2つの実例を挙げました。
I began by giving you two real-life examples.
離れ離れになった双子の兄弟。その人生の奇妙な一致。
Alright, sorry, anyway, back on topic. The story about the twin brothers who grew up in different places and how their lives miraculously lined up.
次に 怪我が伝播する現象についても3つの具体例を挙げて説明しました。
And I gave you 3 concrete examples of how one person's pain transmitted to another.
こういう現象は現実的に起こりうるということです。
Meaning that this is meaning that these phenomenons can actually happen. I'm not interested in any of that. What I'm asking is about all that Lacan stuff.
通常実例の後には解説が来るものですよ。
Explanations do generally come after the examples, you know. Explanation?
そうです。二重身体についての解説です。
That's right. The explanation of what I meant by split bodies.
私は人間が自己の統一を図るためには2つの段階を経る必要があると言いました。
Hold on a sec. I told you that people must go through 2 stages in order to achieve the unity of self. You mean the mirror stage and the perception acquisition, right?
はい。
That's right.
ではもしも仮に
But what if
共造段階へと至る前から2人の赤ん坊を同一人物として育てたらどうなるでしょうか。
what would happen if 2 babies were raised as the same person before they reached the mirror stage? At that instant, a shiver runs down my spine. I feel goosebumps crawling all across my skin. A sinister light shines in Effie's eyes. Before the mirror stage. So naturally, that would mean before the perception acquisition as well. Before they turn 6 months old. Where they can't tell the difference between themselves and others. And they melt into a world where everything is one and the same. Where they still can't discern the concept of their self. What would happen if knowing all were raised as the same person during that period? What did you do to Noi? All she has to say to me is this.
教育です。
I trained her. You mean she was a human experiment?
実験段階はすでにその時には終えていました。
The experimental stage had already ended by then.
危険のないことは明らかだったのです。
It was clear that there would be no danger involved. You artificially destroyed an ego?
破壊ではありません。
We didn't destroy it.
自我の収まる器を拡大してあげただけです。
We just expanded the vessel in which the ego resides.
あの子たちの限界を広げてあげただけなのです。
We just expanded We just expand those two's limits as far as they could go. No, we just expand those two's limits. Why would you do that?
二重身体を獲得させるためです。
To make them obtain split bodies. I'm asking you why.
それは
The reason
私があの子たちの母親だからです。
is because I'm their mother.
母親であれば子供の身の安全を考えるのは当然のことでしょう。
It isn't only natural for a mother to consider her own children's safety. Safety?
私はこれまで二重身体と言ってきましたが、最終的には多重身体を与えることが目的です。
Up until now, I've been talking about split bodies, but eventually the goal is to give them multiple split bodies.
一つの人格が複数の肉体を持っていれば、事故や病気によって死亡する確率が低くなります。
If one personality inhabits several bodies, then the possibility of them dying by accident or illness decreases.
生存の可能性が劇的に高まるのです。
Chance of survival will dramatically increase. Hold on a sec. Her voice doesn't have a single inflection to it. It's completely blank. It's almost as if it's some sort of artificial voice playing out of her. All emotions fade from Effie's face. Though she's facing me, her eyes are reflecting nothing. A lukewarm wind blows. The only thing that's cold here is the sweat on my neck.
私たちは教育を施しただけです。
All we did was train them.
よりよく生きるための知識と手段を与えてあげただけです。
All we gave them was the knowledge and methods to find a better, to obtain a better way of living.
考えてみてください。
Please think about it. No voice changer thing. This is just, that was just sorry, this is just how we translated it. Just metaphorical, sorry. Please think about it.
自我の境界だって元はといえば人為的に作られたものなんですよ。
Boundaries of the ego are, when you think about it, an artificially created concept, correct?
生まれたばかりの赤ん坊にそれはありません。
A newborn baby doesn't have that.
赤ん坊は世界とつながっているのです。
The baby is connected to the world.
それこそが人間の本来あるべき姿なのではないでしょうか。
Is that not the most ideal form of mankind? Us? You just said us, right? Is that what Braw's after?
人類は自我を獲得したことにより独立した存在となりました。
Mankind became independent beings by obtaining egos
個性を得るためです。
in order to develop in order to develop personalities.
バリエーションが豊かになれば、いかなる危機にも対処できるようになります。
The more variation there is, the better we are able to deal with any crisis.
そして実際、人類という種は何万年という歴史の中でも淘汰されず、今日まで生き延びてきました。
And indeed, mankind has not died out over tens of thousands of years of history, and has survived to this very day.
これは他ならぬ個性のおかげであり、自我という概念のおかげでもあります。
This is undoubtedly because they have their own separate personalities, and because of the concept of self and ego. I'm speechless. My words have been stolen away by this insane woman's story.
しかしその反面、自我の獲得は大きな不幸ももたらしました。
While on the other hand, the acquisition of egos has led to great misfortune and suffering.
孤独です。
Loneliness.
人類という一つの種は今まさに離散した状態にあります。
Hold on a second. Alright, here we go. The species known as humanity at this very moment is currently in a state of disbursement.
かつては大文字の他者がそれを取りまとめていたのですが、今はそれさえも相対的なものになってしまいました。
In the past, the big other managed to bring them all together. But by now, even that has become nothing but has become relative.
個人個人が別々の考えを抱き、別々の価値観に従って別々の方向を向いている。
Individuals hold different hold on, sorry, let me try again. Each individual holds their own different mindsets, obeys their own individual values, and goes their own individual ways.
不毛な争いが絶えないのはそのためです。
That's why humanity never stops fighting each other.
これは戦争だけを意味しません。
And I don't just mean that by wars.
誰もが社会的な成功を目指して、あるいは異性に対する歪んだ愛を成就すべく、日々争いを続けています。
Oh, sorry, gang, that's slow down again. Everyone's in a daily struggle to achieve social success or to fulfill their distorted love for the opposite sex.
他人を妬み、恨み、欺き、蹴落とす。
They become jealous of others, begrudge them, deceive them, and trample all over each other.
胸の奥底には常に憎悪と嫉妬心が渦巻いている。
The depths of their hearts are constant whirlpools of hate and jealousy.
孤独だからですよ。孤独感が彼らを駆り立てているのです。
It's because they are lonely. Loneliness is what drives them.
また同時に価値観の多様化は共感の深度を極めて浅いものにしてしまいました。
And at the same time, the diversification of values has made the depths of empathy a truly shallow thing.
日常が倦怠感に支配されているのはそのせいです。疎外感に怯えているのもそのせいです。
That is why everyday life is dominated by malaise. It is also why we are frightened of alienation.
共通の価値を失い、ニヒリズムに陥り、圧倒的な絶望感の中であえいでいるのもそのせいなのです。
That is why we lose shared values. Descendant in nihilism. And writhe in an overwhelming sense of despair and hopelessness.
人々は自我の存在を希薄に感じています。
Humans perceive the existence of the self very faintly.
大文字の他者が力を失いつつあるからです。
It's because the big other is losing its power.
彼らの叫び声が聞こえませんか？
Can you not hear their screams?
僕を見つめてほしい。私を見つめてほしい。
Look at me. I want you to look at me.
彼らは視線を求めています。
They desire someone's eyes upon them.
より強固な自我を確かめたいから。今ここに自分がいるという証が欲しいから。
Because they want to ascertain a stronger sense of self. Because they want to prove that they really truly are right here at this very moment.
こういった諸々の不幸は孤独が元凶となって生まれたものです。
It's because of all this misfortune, that loneliness has become the root. Loneliness has become the root of all that misfortune.
この孤独を払拭するための方法はたった一つしかありません。
There is only one way in order to wipe out this loneliness.
エボルツィオン、あるいはレボルツィオン。
Evolution or revolution.
進化、または革命です。
To evolve or to rebel.
私たち人類は一つにならなければなりません。
We of humanity must become one.
いえ、なるのではなく、戻るのです。
No, not become. Return to being one.
一つに戻る。
Return to being one being.
自我という概念は人為的に作られたものに過ぎません。
This concept of the self is nothing more than an artificially created concept.
それは不自然であり、歪んだ概念なのです。
It is an unnatural and distorted concept.
自我の境界などというものは本来不要なはずなのです。
Originally, the boundaries of the self, should not have been necessary.
だから人々は不幸を感じている。無意識のうちに元に戻りたいと思っている。
That is why people suffer. Unconsciously, they wish to return to the way they once were.
そこに安らぎがあることを知っているから。
Because they know there is peace and comfort in there.
私たち人類は生命体です。
We humanity are a living organism.
生命体である以上、どんなことがあっても生き続けなければなりません。
And since we are living organisms, we have to keep on living no matter what happens.
これは生命体に与えられた定義のようなものです。
That is what it means to be given a body.
この束縛から私たちは逃れることはできません。
We cannot escape from these chains.
ところで、生命現象とは一つの方向性を持った運動です。
Incidentally, phenomenon of life is a single directional movement.
けれど、そこに大きさはありません。
But it has no scale or size.
スカラーと真逆の存在と言えばいいでしょうか。
To say their existence is the exact opposite of scalars.
方向だけがあり、大きさのない現象。
A phenomenon that only has directionality and no size.
私たちはベクトルにならなければなりません。
We must become a vector.
そのためにはどうしても大きさ、強さが必要です。
For that, we desperately need size, strength.
強さとは意味です。絶対的で強力な意味です。
Strength is meaning, an absolute and powerful meaning.
その意味を核として私たちは一つになるのです。
We shall become one with that meaning forming our core.
そうして生まれた新しい世界では永遠の共感と永遠の愛が約束されています。
And the new world born from that will be bound by eternal empathy and eternal love.
これを実現することによって初めて人類は真の意味で救済されることになるのです。
It is by making this a reality that humanity will finally be liberated in its true sense. Well, she sure can't talk a lot, that's for sure. Shouldn't have expected anything less of the chairwoman in NPO. To some people, she would probably sound persuasive. But to me, no, none of that. Nothing at all. All I've done is learn. Learn how insane she is. And I pity her. Pity her as I see as what she's become. I instinctively look away. In the corner of the courtyard, one of the boys is dragging a hose from somewhere. The water scatters about and forms the ring of a rainbow. The girl stands still, reaches out and tries to grab that rainbow. The other kids do the same thing, reaching out. And then, with a mischievous smile, the boy holding the hose changes the water's direction. The water shoots up, gets the children all wet, followed by cheers and cries. Eventually, they begin fighting each other for the hose. The boy starts crying. A girl falls over laughing. And the puppies run around them, cheerfully barking. Why did you tell me this?
あなたがそれを望んだからです。
Because that's what you wanted.
あなたという他者が
The other, known as you. And while I'm at it, I'd like you to grant another wish of mine. What are you planning on doing?
それはすでにお教えしたはずです。
I believe I've already told you that.
進化または革命だと。
Evolution and revolution. Evolution or revolution. I'm asking exactly what you're planning to do.
そんなことを聞いても手遅れですよ。
Even if I tell you, it's too late.
計画はすでに始まっています。
The plan has already begun.
もう誰にも止めることはできません。
No one can stop it now.
長く話しすぎましたね。
I've spoken for far too long, haven't I? Effie straightens out the wrinkles in her shirt as she speaks.
お引き取りください。
Please leave.
ノイを連れてきてくれてどうもありがとうございました。
I'm very grateful that you brought Noi back. Hey, don't get the wrong idea here. I'm taking Noi with me.
面白いことをおっしゃいますね。
Rather funny thing you just said.
何の権限があって
What right do you have? I should ask you what right you have to be performing human experimentation.
実験ではないと言ったでしょ。
I told you it wasn't an experiment.
教育です。
It was training.
母親が教育をして何が悪いというのですか？
What's wrong with a mother educating her children? You can't be their mother. You couldn't have had a child when you were 11 years old. I shout. Effie's eyes shoot down to the ground. But it's not because she was overwhelmed by me. No, it's because the three beagle puppies ran up to her. Effie crouches down and pets the dog as she speaks.
この子たちの犬種についてはお話ししましたよね。
I told you about what breed they are, right?
3匹とも純粋なビーグル犬です。
All three of them are pure beagles. Quit dodging the topic!
そらしてなんかいません。
I'm not.
ノイやアルトのことと関係があるのです。
It has to do with Noi and Alt. What?
話を続けてもいいですか？
May I continue?
この子たちはビーグル犬です。
These puppies are beagles.
母親も同じビーグル犬です。
Their mother is also a beagle.
けれど父親はミニチュアシュナウザーなのです。
But their father is a miniature schnauzer.
父親と母親が交配した結果生まれてきたのが 100% 純粋なビーグル犬だったということです。
Meaning that when the father and mother mated, the result was completely 100% pure beagles.
雑種ではありません。
They're not a mixed breed. What are you talking about?
確かに生殖行為はありました。
They did indeed mate.
ですが受精卵に宿ったのは母親の DNA だけだったのです。
But all that reside in the egg cells was their mother's DNA.
染色体が半分しかないという意味ではありません。遺伝子の構造に欠陥はないのです。
I don't mean they only got half of their mother's genes either. There were no defects in their genes. Only their mother's DNA?
そうです。
That's right. And it's almost like they're clones.
ええ、その通り。
Yes, exactly as you say.
この子たちはクローンです。 母親の。
These puppies are clones of their mother. Hearing that term brings up bad memories. Hearing the term clone makes my heart wrench. I shake my head to scare off the phantoms of the past. According to Effie, those 3 puppies are beagles, clones of their mother. And according to her, that has something to do with Noi and Alt. What sort of connection could they have? There's only one answer, only one conclusion I can reach. Noi and Alt are clones? Effie closes her eyes and slowly nods. Oh my god. All of a sudden, I catch sight of someone walking down the hallways. In the central hallway that goes between the courtyard. I can only see her upper half as she looks out from the window. Alt! I shout instinctively. Effie shouts when she hears that.
Haruto! Nigete!
No, next thing I hear is Effie shout. Alt! Run away! The children stop moving. Their smiles fade away. They all turn towards Effie. All sounds and voices fade as if they've been drained away. I can't even hear the sounds of the insects or the wind. It's a tense silence. And a moment later, Alt turns around, takes off like a speeding bullet. I hesitate in bewilderment for a moment. Why did Effie tell her to run? I don't know why. But my legs start moving unconsciously before I even know it. Damn it! I curse as I run. I chase after Alt. I rush into the building and head towards the hallway, down the hallway. I can see Alt from behind, but she quickly turns a corner and vanishes. Why is Alt running? I speed up. Damn it! Wait, Alt! I keep running. No one else is in the hallway with me. I run from the children's dorms into the middle school and high school dorm area. Cafeteria. After taking 3 turns in a 120-degree angle, and taking one right turn, and just as I'm about taking another right turn, Alt shows up in front of me. The trees surrounding the building. I come out onto a stone path that goes deep through the woods. The path continues to the gate. Alt doesn't slow down. Nor do I have any thoughts of giving up. I kick off the stone pavement and chase after her back. Catching a single girl should be no problem. I'm gradually closing the distance. Hey! I told you to wait! Why are you running away, Alt? Alt! Alt doesn't answer me, nor does she turn around. She heads towards the gate, without even turning back. Damn it! All of a sudden, I realize something strange. It's Alt's clothes. Alt's wearing a long coat in this hot as hell, weather. It's completely different from what I saw last night. What she was wearing last night. It's an arm-length long coat. Where'd she get those clothes? Now, why is she wearing those clothes? I try to think of it, but my head won't work. I can't think straight. Because for right now, my brain is part of my muscles. As I run, my questions fade into the wind. Why is she running? Why? Because she kicked me out of the elevator last night, maybe? No, that's probably not it. Because she was behind the Bank of Japan attack? No, Alt shouldn't know that I've realized that by now. And it's because Effie told her to run? Yet, even if that's the case, she sure responded fast. Alt ran away as soon as she saw me. She must have done something else that would have required this. Some reason that would mean it would be bad if I caught her. That's why she's running. I too have questions I need to ask Alt. I can't let her get away. In the meantime, Alt passes through the gate, takes a left around the corner, and disappears behind the fence. I follow her outside the gate too. But when I get out there, all is nowhere to be seen. This is the residential district. There are turns every dozen meters or so, and it's practically a maze of streets here. I run down the streets. I check the side roads one by one. No one's there. Find there a stray dog. A black human-shaped stain. No, just my shadow. My shadow stretched long as if I were a giant. I stop in the middle of the road and look up to the sky. The sun is high in the apex of the sky, burning like hell. I check my watch. The current time is 12:20 p.m. My sweat's seeped all the way outside my jacket. Damn it. How can I make a mistake like that? I can't believe I let a kid like that get away from me. I return to La Bayou's gate. Stand there and kick the a nearby telephone pole in frustration. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to end there because we've gone for quite a while, but I really wanted to get through all that because I felt there was no real good stopping point there. So yeah. Honestly, there was just so much in this episode that I can't really feel like going over it would be too tiring right now, so I'm going to end it right here. So thank you all for coming in. Next stream will be on Saturday, same time, and until then, I'll see you all later.